My African neighbor got deported. I think I told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because of the atmosphere of the day. Basically, about 4 or 5 years ago, my African neighbor, I don't know where he was from, Nigeria, Ghana, I don't know. Him and his girlfriend, who I thought was his wife, but it was his girlfriend, but they had 2 kids. And those 2 kids were American born. Now, the thing he tried to do is he tried to get himself a wife. But he tried to, so what they do is they come here and they try to marry someone, but the marriage isn't real. It's just on paper so they can stay in the States. And what he did is he came here on an education visa to DeVry, but then he stopped going to school. So his visa was running out and he knew it. So when this happens, they go, okay, let me marry someone just so I can stay here. Now the girlfriend knows all about this. This is, what they do. He obviously had connections here, but this is how they get around the system. Nonetheless, it didn't exactly work for him because, for one, this whole marriage thing takes years. It takes a lot of money. It's like 15 grand you have to pay for the whole process. And some of it goes to the person that you're marrying. So when it came down for him to actually marry this person, which was a white woman, the woman backed out in the last moment. When she backed out after he did all of this work for years and she agreed to it, after she backed out, she took the money and she ran, which is the risk that they take. But now you're already being watched by ICE. Now I'm saying this to talk about how the government is always watching. So he knew ICE was coming for him. He knew it. But he didn't know where, he didn't know when. And he worked as an aide, like he'd go into people's houses and he'll help out the older people and, go to different houses. So the girlfriend came to me and she said, ICE took, my boyfriend. I was like, okay, well, I used to work for the House of Representatives. You want me to make a call so we can, try to figure out what's going on? She says, no, I don't want you to do that. But this is what they told him. They picked him up at one of these aides' houses, which means they already knew where he was. It wasn't at a regular job he goes to every day. He goes to different houses. They went and knocked on the door and they said, we know that you're in there. Come on out. Because he was trying to hide from them. They didn't try to blow the door down. No, nothing. They just said, hey, we know you're in there. And being that he goes to different houses, he's like, okay, well, they're going to get me anyway. So he came out without a fuss, and they got him. But they took him 2 hours away and then put him in jail. And they told him, listen, you got 2 choices. You can leave the country immediately with your family, with your 2 American-born kids and your girlfriend. No harm, no foul. Next time you come in the country, you got to do it the right way, which he did, but you have to stay the right way, which he did not. So they didn't dub him a criminal until he went past his dates, until you went outside of what you were supposed to do. Okay? So you can come into this country legally on a education visa, but you have to, for one, go ahead and get your education, and 2, you have to re-up on that visa. So that's not what he did. So then they were like, okay, what you're doing is criminal after a certain point. You have to go ahead and leave the country. He tried to stay. They were like, no. Anyway, so he took option number 1, which is get his family together and leave. And he went back to his country. We haven't seen or heard from him. So I'm saying all that to say there's a lot of people, and now the Africans are being deported, or now there's the Africans been being deported. People have been being deported. Obama was deporting people. This has been going on. It's not just the Hispanics or whatever. Anyone. And this whole outcry about, oh, it's unfair that you cannot be in any country. You cannot besmirch any country's laws. Not one. Not one country can you go into and say, I'm just going to be here and there's nothing you can do about it. And then have a whole outcry. No, you cannot do that. You can't do that to any country. None whatsoever. If you go into that country, even if you come in legally and you stay past what you're supposed to, you are now committing a federal crime, actually. So, I am for deportation, even if you're a good worker and you've been here for years, I'm for it. But I am also for, if it's possible, which you already know, I'm for you getting your, the legal right to be here. So I'm for that. And anyone who comes into this country that's from outside this country, especially if you've been here for a while, you already know, for one, it's going to cost you some money, but you already know the system. And when you get deported, it's just like, wait a minute, you were working, which means you have money. You could have done this the right way, but you did not do it. I mean, that guy was here for years. I've known him for years. He had 2 kids here. 2 kids that never saw the mother yet. One kid was 9 years old. The other one was like 1. It's like, you've been here. You could have done this the right way, but you didn't. You tried to go around, and it all fell through. So that's the way I feel about it. Even if you're hardworking, good person, get your act together. Get your papers together the right way. Stay in a country, keep working, and keep helping the American system. I'm all for that 100%. I'm out.